Hello and welcome everybody to the Twins Off Daily podcast brought to you by twinsdaily.com. What many are starting to call the best Twins podcast that you aren't listening to, but you, dear listeners, are obviously listening to us right now. So we thank you very much for that. Please keep it up. We love having you. I am Sweet Lou Hennessy and I am here with, let's see, to my right here, we have Mr. Gregory Masterson. What's going on, dude?
Hey, I actually just got off a call with MLB's fan council, which is they have made the terrible mistake of adding me to the fan council along with everybody's favorite TJ Hartman. If you are on Twitter, you know Tyler the Twins guy. I think the two of us are the fan representatives for the Twins. I think it was a good meeting. We talked with an authenticator. I learned a lot about like authentication and everything, but I want to take this opportunity to say, if anybody ever has any complaints about baseball or MLB, please send them my way. I actually kind of have a little bit of a line to people who care and can listen. So whenever you have complaints about the game, just send them to Ol Gregg.
Ol Gregg, how did you get selected to be on this council here? What happened? Did you apply for this? Did they seek you out? Were you headhunted?
No, I got a DM on Twitter that's like, hey, you're a big fan. We want to add you to this fan council. And so I sent it to some people on Twitter. I'm like, hey, it was from the MLB, verified the Gold Star Twitter account, whatever. And I sent it to people. I was like, hey, is this real? Has anybody else gotten this? What is this going on? And everybody's like, no, I've never seen that. And then finally, our friend Shayla, commissioner of baseball, Shayla, is like, yeah, actually, I know somebody else who got that message. So I think it's actually legit. So I just replied to it, said, sure, I'd like to sign up. And then they just added me to the list. There's, I don't know, 50 of us or something like that.
Greg, did they ask you for money in this direct message?
See, I thought that this was going to be some sort of scam and they were going to, they're going to say, give us $600 to join the MLB fan council and make your voice heard. And then I was going to be out $600 because I'm great at falling for scams.
Oh, man. Well, you know who is not great at falling for scams? It is the guest on today's episode. It is Mr. TFT himself, Tom Froemming. What is going on, Tom?
What is up? Not a whole lot. I'm doing good. I hope you guys are doing good. I also have something new to announce. I just want to confirm that per Dan Hayes' report, I am among the interested purchasers of the Minnesota Twins, but it is just that $1.7 billion. That is my sticking point as well. So, I'm going to keep going down that path and we'll see where it leads, but I'm not sure.
I'm glad somebody connected with you. That's good. That is great. I think you'd be a great owner. I think that you'd be very wise, and I think you would pull the right strings to keep this whole thing going. I don't know. What do you think, Greg?
Just give it a few more weeks of your new podcast, Tom, and that ad revenue is going to be coming in.
Oh yeah,
and you are going to be ready to buy the Twins. That last $200 million is going to be like that.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, we can't wait for it. I think that'll be a ton of fun. Cannot wait for you. Cannot wait to lick those boots, maybe get some free tickets or free bobblehead or something.
Well, I can tell you all those Gregg Gripes that are coming from that fan council just straight to the trash.
Good.
Immediately if I'm in there. So sorry, Greg.
Good. Okay, well, speaking of having a lot of fun, why don't we talk about our walk-off question that we are going to try to answer at the end of today's episode, and that is, our beloved Minnesota Twins are traveling from Tampa Bay all the way to Seattle. I think that's got to be one of the longer flights that you can make in the league. What, maybe Miami's a little further? Boston to San Diego, is that further? I don't know, but this has got to be one of the longer flights in all of Major League Baseball. So our question is, which Twin would you want to sit next to on a 6-hour flight from Tampa Bay to Seattle? I don't know. I think there's some good candidates here, but we will try to come up with some answers, and we will let you know at the end of the episode. But for right now, let's talk about some actual Minnesota Twins action, and let's boogie on down to the rapid recap. All right. Well, since our last episode on Thursday, the two series that the Twins played started off with a bang. Two straight walk-off wins. We were feeling the magic against the Kansas City Royals. They took Game 3, so the Twins finished 2-1 against the Royals, and then they went 1-2 in a what looked like a pretty muggy Tampa Bay. I don't know. Guys were losing balls in the up in the sky, and Pablo needed a little air break, a little breather and stuff. It sounded like it was very, very muggy today. And anyway, the Twins went 1-2 in Tampa Bay. So let's talk about it. Who's hot? Who's not? Greg, let's start with you. Who caught your eye this week?
I want to say from like a big picture perspective, I don't know. I'm very okay with the Twins just kind of going 500 right now. Like it feels like early in the season, if they ran off, because I think in their last 6, they're 3-3, in their last 8, they're 4-4, and in their last 10, they're 5-5. And I feel like earlier in the season, that would be very nerve-wracking, like before this win streak. So I just want to say that I appreciate that it's like it feels okay to just go 500 for a couple weeks. Hopefully, this is like, they don't go 500 and then they drop down to, going 300 or whatever again. But it's nice to be able to just kind of take that and sit with it. I did just check the standings for the first time ever, or not ever, this season, because Memorial Day was Monday. So all good baseball fans are allowed to actually open up the standings. I'm surprised that they are 6 games behind the Tigers still. The Tigers have just been great. But anyway, I'm just kind of tranquil with how things are right now. Maybe not so much on the offensive side of the ball, but as a team overall, I'm okay with where they are. In terms of who's hot, I feel like we've opened this by saying like the pitchers for the last 2 weeks.
Yeah.
So I'm going to skip to Carlos Correa. Carlos Correa, it has been really nice to see what he's been able to do. He's hitting for average. He is hitting for power. He is actually kind of one of the few hitters right now who are doing much damage at all at the plate. That's been really, really good to see. He's been a really good defender all year long too, which is really, his defense has been solid the last 2 years, but I think that he's playing at a higher defensive level right now than he has in a few years, I believe, which is kind of surprising for a guy who's now 30, I believe. I think I've said I believe like 5 times in the last 30 seconds, so I apologize.
I believe he did.
But Carlos Correa has been super encouraging. He's hitting for average. He's hitting for power. I don't think that he's been still walking all that much, but you take what you can get. He has been swinging the bat well. I joked that maybe when he got that concussion, I don't want to make light of concussions, but it would be real great if like he's one of those guys who get bonked on the head like you're in a cartoon, and all of a sudden like you remember how to hit and you can play the piano perfectly. And I joked like on Twitter, like now he can speak Aramaic conversationally at least. Like all of these and maybe that's what happened. Maybe he got bonked on the head so hard that he kind of remembered how to hit. But it's been really encouraging to see what Correa's been doing.
Yeah, no doubt. Yeah, on your point about just, it's kind of refreshing. I shouldn't say refreshing, but it doesn't feel as bad to have a 500 week as it would have maybe, at the end of April when things weren't going so well. And we're like, oh, they need to start digging out of this hole. Now, if they can just settle in and, if a 500 week, that'll play. Wasn't there a playoff team last year that for almost the entire season was just like within 1 or 2 games of 500, and then in the last month, I want to say maybe it's the Diamondbacks, I forget, but for almost the whole season they weren't more than 2 games above or below 500, and then ended up making the playoffs and making a run. Anyway, producer Lenny will do some digging into that for future conversations here. Tom, what do you think? Who's caught your eye over the last week?
I mean, Cody the Killer Clemens.
Ooh,
2 more home runs from that guy. Like when does this end? Like how long can he keep this up for? I'm genuinely curious. I'm not really naysaying because he is a guy who has hit at AAA. Now, of course, that doesn't always translate, but there are, and talking to a lot of people about Deshaun Kersey Jr. and Carson McCusker and guys like that, it is really hard to go from being, if you're a good AAA hitter, you're hitting 3rd in your order, 4th in your order every day, playing every day. it's a lot easier to stay in a rhythm and to keep playing well when that's a situation. You take that out and you become a bench guy like Cody Clemens has up until this point of his career. It's a really difficult adjustment to make. Not only are you trying to adjust to major league pitching, but your whole routine is thrown off. So he's not going to have an OPS north of 1,000. I'm not going that far, but I'm starting to sort of open myself up to entertaining the idea of this guy being more of a long-term contributor to this season. As he just how can you have to at this point? He's hit 5 home runs this month, 2 home runs over this series this week, and just keeps getting it done and looks extremely comfortable here with
right. Yeah, no doubt. Tom, I just want to let you know, people are calling him the bottle rocket. I'm not sure if you got the memo, but after his father, he can still pack a punch, even though he might not look it right off the base. But yeah, Cody Clemens, boy, just so refreshing, especially after, guys like Julian or Miranda maybe could not step up and fill the role that many were anticipating. Maybe they could. They were going to need somebody to fill the cracks there, and he has done that perfectly. So Cody Clemens has been a lot of fun for sure. Guys, how about anybody catch your eye for the wrong reasons? Maybe some concerning reasons over the last week here. I think we're starting to see a little bit of crackage in the soft side of the bullpen. Greg, what do you think? Has anybody caught your eye for negative reasons?
Tom, can we have a conversation?
Uh-oh.
We've got to talk about your guy, Willie Castro.
Yeah, I'm willing to listen.
I mean, this is, I don't know. Like I wouldn't call myself a Willie Castro believer or disbeliever. I think that what he's been doing the last couple of years has been awesome in terms of the role that he's asked to play. But I don't know, man. He's not been hitting much at all this year. It's not like his underlying metrics look nice either. It doesn't really look like he's getting unlucky. And I'm the first to say that I don't need a Willie Castro type to be like an above average hitter or anything, but I don't know. He's not really hitting much of anything right now. Like it's not even below average. And then you add in kind of, well, he's not really your backup center fielder anymore. He's not really your backup shortstop anymore. So he's kind of a corner outfielder, second, third baseman, potential pitcher. But I don't know. Like, I don't want to overreact. He hasn't been back at the major league level for too terribly long. It's definitely could be something where he's just trying to get back into the groove. But when you kind of look at the big picture of the team and you look at him struggling these last few weeks, I mean, right now he's not even like the preferred pinch runner. Now that might change within days. Potentially by the time people listen to this, maybe Deshaun Kersey is sent down and Willie Castro is now your bench runner, except that also might be Harrison Bader because Bader might not be an everyday player once Wallner and Buxton get back. I don't know. Like, I don't really know exactly what to make of Willie Castro right now. And I don't exactly know what his role on this team is, like even in the near future, I guess.
Yeah, it's tough to dispute that at the moment. And watching him play, it's not just the results aren't there. It is kind of uncomfortable to watch. I don't think he's healthy. And then maybe it's not a thing where he's injured. It's sort of that gray area in between.
Yeah.
Because he doesn't look comfortable at all. Yeah, and I can't dispute that fact that he if he's not going on the IL for an injury, maybe a phantom IL for like a reset. Assuming we get Wallner back and Buxton back, and there is that kind of crunch right now. Having him even just to be there to play defense, be a pinch runner, they're thinned out right now. So I understand why they maybe would have pushed him back to the active roster a little bit more aggressive, giving everything else that was happening. But I think the ideal thing would be, let's get these other guys healthy, and then let's take a look at Willie and think about what's going on here, because he doesn't look right, for sure.
Yeah, and his role certainly feels like it's changed with, I guess you could say, the emergence of Brooks Lee, who is still figuring things out himself, but he certainly looks more comfortable I shouldn't say more, but I mean, at this point, just health wise, he looks very comfortable in the field, and he's sliding in, in the 3 hole in the cleanup spot. I think that'll be something to watch for sure. It'd be nice if both of those guys could kind of push each other a little bit to have somebody kind of take over that infield utility job. Because I mean, we've seen Willie play a little bit of outfield lately, a little bit more. But like you said, yeah, it got ugly, but I don't know. Something feels freaky about that minor league stadium, the George Steinbrenner Field.
Man,
the Rays
Trevor Larnach, my goodness, looks like he's never played left field in his life in that stadium.
Yeah,
that was rough.
Yeah, and I mean, Willie lost one himself. It feels like there's just like no foul territory once you get past 10 feet into the outfield there. Yeah, it was weird. It was a very weird series, which it seems like even when they were playing in that stupid Tropicana Stadium, that it was always weird playing Tampa Bay in their stadium. Sorry, Greg, what you were saying?
No, I was going to say about the dimensions of that. So it's modeled after Yankee Stadium, naturally. I want to say I love that spring training fields do that, like how every level of Boston's minor leagues has some form of a green monster that is like within like 10 feet. They're higher or lower than the one in Boston. But I don't like. I feel like foul territory at that stadium that can't be what Yankee Stadium has going on, right? Like that is like foul. Like the foul line is like 3 inches from the wall. Like that seems dangerous.
Yeah, certainly. And the left fielders on the Twins certainly seem to feel that danger, that peril. How about this? Any minor leaguers? And Tom, I know that you are very ingrained in the minor league system for the Minnesota Twins. Who would you say right now has caught your attention that maybe you were not expecting, a month ago or even at the beginning of the season?
I think the main guy, not that this is someone who is unexpected, but Kalen Culpepper, the most recent first round pick. We're not going too under the radar or anything here, but he's just been excellent in. He's got a 937 OPS this month so far. And this is around when they promoted Luke Keeschel to AA last year. And I'm wondering if maybe they might be thinking about that with Culpepper. Now, the difference there is they're trying to get Culpepper to, work in as a shortstop, whereas Keeschel was hurt and not really playing a lot of defense. So it's kind of a different conversation in that matter. But Kalen Culpepper, to me, looks like he's ready for another challenge. And I think he's every step of the way so far of his minor league career, he has looked like much better than I was imagining. I don't watch a lot of college ball. So when they draft guys, I have a little bit of base knowledge on them. And then a lot of what I'm kind of taking is from all those scouting reports that I'm taking in. And he's looked much better than any scouting report pre-draft that I saw on him. And it's been really great to see. He looks like he's a great pick. And Kyle DeBarge too, who I really wasn't having a lot of expectation on. So, it's the 2 most recent top picks from last year's draft, but unfortunately, there's a lot of guys who are not playing well or not playing at all who are among the top prospects right now. Your Walker Jenkins, has been playing. Keeschel's injured. Charlie Soto's injured. So it's kind of thin, I would say, even though the teams are all playing pretty well and they're getting some kind of under the radar contributions. So guys like Kyler Fedko have been playing really well. Nate Baez, some other names out there. But yeah, it's Culpepper certainly stands out.
Yeah, for sure. I'm curious what they're waiting on. I'm not one who's like, oh, he's showing everything he needs to show. Like, of course, they're looking for things that are beyond just the box score and his stat line. But at the same time, if he's playing this stellar, I'm kind of curious what they're hoping he accomplishes before being promoted. Off the top of my head, who's playing shortstop at AA right now? Is there
I know Tanner Schobel's playing there, but I don't know if he's the prime. I think he is the primary guy, and he's not a shortstop.
Yeah,
he's the guy who's going to be playing shortstop in AA, but realistically, he's more of a third baseman, second baseman. Probably should learn how to play some outfield too. So certainly, if you were to that wouldn't prevent you from calling up Culpepper. So yeah, it's not like he's blocked, but it is pretty aggressive. A guy who was just drafted. They did move Keeschel up pretty quickly, I thought, but. He's kind of laying down that same track and getting into those conversations. Seems like a really a mature guy as well, Kalen Culpepper. So you don't really have that concern. It doesn't appear, from the outside looking in. So I can't imagine it's going to be too much longer, which is really exciting.
Yeah, you brought up Kyle DeBarge. I want to say that for your prospect zine that you made this year, I did a little written story of kind of a Franken prospect, and I want to say I had Kyle DeBarge's speed as the element for that. I'd have to double check. I know he was in there. I'm trying to remember who I picked for the speed tool, but if it was Kyle DeBarge, that was a great call on my part because he's got 25 steals already on the year. I just need to pat myself on the shoulder before you do too much fact checking to make sure that I actually did get that right.
I'm pretty sure you did.
Gregg, minor leaguer. Anybody catch your eye here?
I mean, my two I was going to bring up were Culpepper and DeBarge. That's super exciting. I'm now unprepared as I had my two. I do want to say Marco Raya has had a rough go of it, but he had a solid outing his last time out. That was pretty I don't know if I want to say encouraging, but a little bit more relieving, I think. No pun intended.
Yeah, right.
With Marco Raya, but it was relieving to see him go out there and put together some solid innings.
Yeah. We've seen a few rebounds. I guess I could say rebounds or returns to the rotation because Festa was hurt for a while and he returned to the rotation, I want to say. Mm-hmm. So it's going to be exciting to see what he can do. Simeon Woods Richardson had a great start. I think they're hoping to get him back on track. He's somebody who's absolutely going to be making more starts at the big league level this year and beyond. You got to think. So hey, getting him right down in AAA might be for the best for everybody. Okay, well,
Tom, I actually ask you? How you're feeling about the kind of, I guess, Simeon Woods Richardson and Zebby Matthews and David Festa, that kind of, how are you feeling about that kind of trio? And do you feel like the Twins are in good hands with Zebby Matthews? I guess I don't exactly have like an exact question for you, but I just kind of want to know your thoughts on that kind of that part.
Well, I have a bold prediction regarding that trio, but it's an incredible situation to be in. Like, I can't believe how much rotation depth this organization has right now for major leaguers. And you throw in the fact that Andrew Morris is pitching. He's not been pitching excellent. And he's certainly not pushed himself into the conversation to bounce one of these guys. But like in a normal Minnesota Twins year, Andrew Morris would be like the number 4 starter, it is just crazy. Yeah. I still believe in Simeon Woods Richardson as a big leaguer. Zebby Matthews, I believe in as a big leaguer. I think he's got a little bit more kinks to work out, and SWR is a little bit more refined kind of. I think SWR knows who he is a little bit more than Zebby does. I think Zebby is still kind of trying to figure out what his pitch mix is going to look like and what how he's going to attack major league hitters. I think he's got a little bit of figuring out to do. Woods Richardson, I'm not saying I disagree with him going down. I think that was fine, but I also think, he's definitely going to be making starts for the Twins. Obviously the big 3 guys, Pablo and Obor and Ryan are pitching well. And then Chris Paddock is what? And,
He said the magic word. Time for everybody's favorite segment. Is Craddock?
Whoa,
that sounds like a George R.R. Martin name for somebody. So is Chris Paddock still a Twin? And as of May 28th, 2025, Chris Paddock is still a Twin. Anyway, sorry to cut you off, guest Tom.
Yeah,
but we have a bit to do.
That's like, I feel like that's the bit on Pee-wee's Playhouse when they have like the word of the day and then somebody says it and they all go, ah! And like a bunch of confetti shoots out and stuff. It's going to get to that point with Chris Paddock. Sorry, Tom, continue with your point.
Well, I haven't. The Festa was the last guy to touch on, and I'll save my thoughts on him.
Okay. All right.
Fair enough. I did. Sorry, I know I'm kind of hijacking this, but I feel like we do need to. It might be so. This is a player who many people are saying should be in the minor leagues right now, kind of reactionarily. But man, Royce Lewis is going through it. I feel like we should touch on that. I don't really know what to make of his struggles right now. He looks all out of sorts. He came out with a completely new batting stance today. He I almost would compare it to like Nelson Cruz. Like he starts very open and with the bat on his shoulder, which is something I've never really seen him do. His kind of load is it very much looks like he's trying it out for the first time right now in terms of his timing. Royce Lewis has looked rough basically since coming back from injury, and I really don't know what to make of that.
Yeah, I mean, is it very possible that it's just a situation where he's got to play through it? He missed so much spring training. He missed a month and a half here. It's going to take some warming up. I don't know. What do we think?
Yeah, I mean, right now it's not looking good, but you're staying a step. I sniped your minor league guys, and you're staying a step ahead of me. I have another. I have a Royce Lewis take to share later as well.
Okay, save it.
Do we want to just go straight into Nostrathomas then?
I think we should. I think today's big inning topic, we are going into Nostrathomas. Tom, do you want to give us just any sort of little background about how this nickname came about, or where the graphic, especially that you've shared on social media, came from?
I don't remember for sure when it started. The first time I remember using it was it was on April 13th, 2023, the first game of a series against the Yankees at Yankee Stadium. I had posted, not sure if it's this lovely weather, Correa and Buxton being in the lineup, or the scheduled late inning Castro chaos, but I'm feeling a Twins dub coming.
There we go.
And they whooped the Yankees at Yankee Stadium that day.
Okay.
And I think that was the first time I'd shared the Nostrathomas meme.
Good.
But yeah, that's been a fun one. There's been some usually it's just random transactions and a few he's due calls. I don't make a whole lot of predictions, so if I get one right, I get pretty excited. So
good.
We're gonna don. I should have prepared some theme music, and I should have donned the headgear and everything.
I'm gonna reuse some theme music.
There.
Ooh, there we go.
Nostrathomas.
What do you got for us this time, Nostrathomas? What are you going to throw out there into the ether?
Speaking of David Festa, young Mr. Festa has been the ideal major league send down. No one has used a demotion to the minor leagues that I have seen more productively than David Festa has. Now, he did get shut down for a little over 2 weeks. The shoulder was a little iffy, but you know what? Hey, he got healthy. So that's productive too. But he is not just developing a fourth pitch. He has pushed his sinker to be his primary pitch in these outings, and he has still been super successful. He is throwing more strikes than I think we've ever seen David Festa throw. With this new pitch that he's featuring, I'm all in, baby. David Festa is going to lead the Twins in pitching war in the second half.
Whoa. Okay.
Not Pablo, not Ober, not Joe Ryan, not Chris Paddock, who is still a Minnesota Twin, but David Festa.
I like it. That is a good call. That is a swinging for the fences prediction there. I think so. On the Twins Off Daily podcast, we did a bold prediction segment before the season started. I can't remember who was on the show. It might have just been me and Greg and Cody, but I think mine was that Zebby Matthews would receive at least one Cy Young vote, whether that's a fifth place, whatever place, he was going to get some sort of consideration. It sounds like you're thinking Festa is going to be jonesing for that instead.
I think he's going to be really good. And it's not like this sinker is like it's a kind of a pitch to contact pitch. It's a pitch to get him deeper into games. It's a pitch to get him back in and at bat. Maybe, it's not going to be a wipeout pitch, but it is making him so much more viable of a big league pitcher. And, hey, is it that crazy? This guy did look really good for parts of last year. So it's not that nuts to expect him to be successful. Maybe this is going a little extra, but yeah, I'm pretty excited about how David Festa is looking.
I love it. Greg, what do you think about that prediction?
I mean, the realist in me, I mean, obviously it's a bold prediction. But I just want to know, how do we get there? How do we get to the point where David Festa is in the rotation for long? Because it's a crowded rotation right now. And he's almost like beyond that, he kind of has to fight against like Zebby Matthews as well right now to get in. I'm sure that there is, some injury that will take place. This is the Twins. I'm sure that he will work his way in. But the kind of like, I guess, big picture guy in me is very curious as to how that's going to end up happening. Because I don't think that it's that hot of a take. It's just going to take a little bit of maneuver. Thank you guys for talking for like 5 minutes while I found the picture and uploaded it.
For our listening audience who are not watching the video feed, Greg pulled up the Nostrathomas meme that was being referenced earlier. We'll make sure to share that on our account and on the post on Twins Daily too, so y'all can see it because it's gold. It's one you'll definitely want to save onto your phone or something for when Tom gets these predictions correct. Tom, did you have any other Nostratomus predictions for us tonight?
I do. There we go. We talked about Royce Lewis. Mr. Lewis on a shopping trip to Target. He will have one of those key bonks on the noggin. Somebody's going to knock over something on the top shelf. He's going to get hit in the noggin. From that point forward, 800 OPS.
Okay.
I'm saying actually it's happening today. They're going to get into Seattle. Whatever their version, I don't know what's their version of Target. They got like a fish market. I think that's how they got there, right?
How about this? They go to the fish market and they throw the fish at him and it bonks him on the head. He misses it and it nails him on the head.
And I'm sorry, really quick. I need to say, did you just say what's the Seattle version of Target? Like Target's a national chain, y'all. Like it's like second to Walmart.
I refuse to acknowledge that they've branched outside of Minnesota.
You Minnesotans and your
those aren't real Targets, all right?
One of us. Nice.
So it's gonna click. It looks so bad, but we just saw this happen with Carlos Correa. Correa, and he was not obviously not healthy. And then, like you said, it's like weirdly that bonk on the head. He comes back and he looks like Carlos Correa all of a sudden.
Yeah.
Sometimes that's how it works, and it doesn't make any sense. I don't know why, but sometimes the guys can look like they've never played baseball before. And then all of a sudden it's like, oh yeah, I'm Royce Lewis, and just go out and do his thing. So I don't think it's that bold of a prediction to say Royce Lewis is going to play well, despite the fact that, he finished last year terrible and he's looked terrible this year. But this is a guy who does have a 786 career OPS now. And I'm going to put it out there that from this point on, or maybe we'll make it easy and say from June 1st forward, he'll have an 800 OPS.
Okay.
In 15 games, but I'm still going to take credit for that. That's how it goes.
As you should. That's good. That's another fun one. On our Twins off daily bingo board that we have, the last square is Royce Lewis redemption. And he's really digging himself a hole so that he can really redeem himself later down the road if he is going to cross that one off our list. Greg, what do you think of that one?
You know what? I mean, I said this earlier on Twitter. I know sometimes I just recycle the things I say on Twitter, but I only have so many thoughts.
Sure.
But longtime listeners, longtime followers of Greg will know that I've always kind of been down on Royce Lewis, if for no other reason than I don't he kind of looks like a newborn deer out there. And so and I've talked to people about this, every single time that he hits a home run, on the television, I think that he popped it up to the pitcher. There's just some sort of disconnect in my head. And so I have been a Royce Lewis doubter for quite a long time. I spent a lot of last year saying on this podcast, this isn't going to last. This isn't who Royce Lewis is. He can't possibly be this good. And now that I'm, vindicated, I feel terrible about it. This is not as fun as I thought it would be. So I'm back. I'm about to get in the driver's seat of the Royce Lewis bandwagon. I am going to will this man back to productivity. I honestly, even just on a human level, I don't know if you guys saw the quote that came out after the game today from Royce Lewis. But I can't, I don't know who the author was, but the Star Tribune, looks like Bobby, posted a story, and in there he has a quote from Royce Lewis that Royce Lewis has never been able to give a good quote. He gives good quotes, but he struggles to he sometimes struggles to articulate himself. How he said they're not about the Guardians. He said they're not the Yankees of old, and they'll have a downfall someday. When he really just kind of meant they're not the 27 Yankees. They won't keep playing like this. But he made it much worse sounding for himself.
What was the quote today?
I'm at a point where hope is gone. I just do my job as best I can. If I keep hitting the ball hard, they say it'll find a hole, but I haven't seen it yet. And man, just like on a human level,
yeah,
that's rough.
And this is like one of the most positive people I think I've ever seen in baseball.
Right.
To say that. Oof.
Yeah, he's certainly going through it. We're definitely hoping that Nostrathomas can turn things around for him here.
Just hit him with a fish. Somebody hit him with a fish.
Somebody, please.
That's the answer.
Well, thank you for those predictions. We will follow up down the road, and hopefully they both come true here. But for right now, we're going to boogie on down to our next segment, which is Picks to Click. We pick a different category every week, and we try to track that until the next episode. The category from last episode was strikeouts by a relief pitcher. I picked Joan Duran, who had 4 strikeouts since our last episode. Greg, you picked Sweet Lou Varland, who looked nasty, but he only struck out one guy in his, probably 3 or 4 games that he pitched. Cody, cannot believe it. He gets the win this time.
What?
When he picked Griffin Jacks with 6 strikeouts. But since he is not here to claim it, unfortunately, it does not count. So, Cody, I'm sorry. You remain winless. You were so close this time, Cody. We're really rooting for you next time. And speaking of next time, we are going to make our picks for the next episode. We are going to track total innings pitched by a Twins pitcher. So who do you think is going to pitch the most innings in the next 10 games? So 2 times through a rotation, 10 games. Who do we think is going to have the most innings pitched? Tom, let's go with you. Who do you think is going to pitch the most?
I'll go with Bailey Ober.
Bailey Ober. It's a very good start. I think that I definitely see the logic behind that one. Greg, what do you think?
Let's go. Ryan's been dealing. Let's go Joe Ryan.
Okay, Joe Ryan. That's probably the number 2 on my list here. I'm gonna go with Zebby. I'm gonna make this. I think that he looked really nasty in his last game, despite only going 4 innings. I thought it was a true mark that he's pointed in the right direction here, and that his stuff is can play. Of course, you want him to cut down on those really long at bats, but still, it means that his stuff has been pretty nasty. And I think that in his next couple of starts, he tacks on a few more innings to go with that just raw nastiness that he's brought to the table. So I am going to go with Mr. Zebby Matthews. Okay, very good. That was a very quick round of picks to click, but let's move on down to everybody's favorite segment. It is Gregory's Gripes. All right. Greg always has something grinding his gears. This is his chance to get it all off his chest. Greg, the floor is yours.
You know what this is going to be? Greg has an ever gripe. This is going to be something that I keep coming back to over and over and over.
Oh, boy.
And over. Lou, what's the score of the Timberwolves game right now?
Goodness.
Does anybody have that in front of them?
We're recording this during the game against Oklahoma City. Right now, there is 5 minutes left in the third quarter. Oklahoma City is up 78-51.
Okay, so Timberwolves season is over. I'm comfortable saying that.
I didn't hear no bell.
Yeah. Okay. Sure. I know this is something that I'm constantly griping about, but I am so over mopey Minnesota sports fans. I get it. And I say this as a non-Minnesotan. The Twins are the only team that I like. The Twins are my only favorite team that is a Minnesotan team. I do like the Timberwolves. I am a San Antonio Spurs fan. I have watched my team win 5 NBA championships in my lifetime. However, I grew up close to Minnesota. The Timberwolves are kind of like the local team for me, so I've always cared about how they do. I've never had any good feelings toward the Vikings, but I do care about the Minnesota Timberwolves, and hockey's not a sport. So,
okay.
But I am so tired of the defeatism of Minnesota sports fans. I know that y'all have not seen a championship since 1991. I don't know, what, 34 years, whatever. But why can't we just watch a season and care about that season for the sake of its own season? Like, why do we have to view everything through the lens of we haven't, like the Timberwolves? Like, I don't know if y'all have goldfish brains. Number one, they've been to the Western Conference Finals 2 years in a row. That's amazing. That's incredible. I don't care who you are, but especially for the Timberwolves, who a lot of the people who are complaining about the Timberwolves like disappointing them right now were not Timberwolves fans 5 years ago. Let's be completely honest about what's happened to this fan base. But beyond that, it is amazing. In the current NBA to go to the Western Conference Finals twice in 2 years, that's incredible. That is like, there's so much parity in the NBA right now. It is amazing that you get to watch that. And like I said, I don't know if we have goldfish memories, but I distinctly remember everybody at the beginning of this season chalking this year up to being kind of a gap year. Like they had to get figured out cap wise. They traded Karl Anthony Towns. Nobody knew what Julius Randle was going to be. And he ended up being a pretty solid fit, but it was more of a, let's just get through this year, get Randle's money off the books, get Cat's money off the books, have a little bit of flexibility going forward and try and build a team around Ant. All of a sudden, the Timberwolves make the Western Conference Finals as a 6 seed, and everybody is crying and moping about how disappointed they are in this team. What are we talking? Like, how do you get to this point? I don't understand Minnesota sports fans whatsoever. You're the bane of my existence. Enjoy the basketball that is in front of you. Until like last year, it had been 20 years since you've been to a conference finals. Like, and now all of a sudden we're like championship or bust to the worst team in the history of the National Basketball Association. I am so exhausted of all of this. I'm so exhausted by Minnesota sports fans. Every single interaction that I have with a Minnesota sports fan is the worst interaction I've ever had. I don't care if people stop listening to this podcast because I've offended them, man. I'm tired of this. Oh, man.
Greg, I got two thoughts with that. First of all, thank you for your gripe. First of all, the Minnesota sports fans just won a championship like 48 hours ago.
Yes.
The Minnesota Frost won their back-to-back championships on, what was that, Monday night? And the Minnesota Lynx are clearly one of the best teams in the league and have 4 championships under their belt. So that's one of them there. 2, I think you're absolutely right that most Minnesota sports fans are giant babies, but you are not allowed to say that. You are not one of us. I get to say that. You do not, my friend. But thank you very much for your contribution. You're great for this week. Let's boogie on down and play a special edition of the closer. Okay, so Greg prepared a round of Stump the Froemm, but obviously Cody the Froemm, Comrade Cody, is not here for this episode. So we are rebranding this as Stump the Froemm. So how this works is that Greg came up with a category and he has a list of names, and Tom and I will go one by one trying to fill this list. And we each get 3 strikes. And whoever is eliminated first is out. And if I outlast Tom, I have stumped the Froemm. Is that pretty much what we're going to say? Yeah, let's go with that. Yeah. Greg, I'm going to hand it over to you since you found this week's category. What are we working with?
Perfect. Okay, so we are looking at the target field era. I will have for you the top 15 home run hitters in the target field era as your category. That is going to be anybody who has at least 50 home runs in a Twins uniform since the year 2010. I have, again, my little setup that I should be able to remove like a board. Let me make sure that my windows are working so that I don't accidentally show you the list, because that would be devastating. Okay. So I'll give you each 3 strikes. You were saying, Lou?
So there's 15 guys on this list who have hit 50 or more home runs since 2010.
Yes.
Okay.
And I do have bonus category if we do, or not bonus, but I do have the next 7 on the list, I believe. The next 6 on the list. I wanted to go down to number 20, but there was a tie. So, okay. So let's start with Lou. Who do we have? Most home runs in the Target Field era as a Twin.
Let's go Max Kepler.
Max Kepler is number 3. Wow. Tom.
Nelson Cruz.
Nelson Cruz is number 9. 76 home runs. Lou?
I'll go Brian Dozier.
Brian Dozier is number 1 with 167. Tom?
Eddie Rosario.
Eddie Rosario is number 6 with 119.
How about Byron Buxton?
Byron Buxton is number 4 with 143.
Okay.
Jorge Polanco.
Jorge Polanco is number 7. There we go.
Oh, number 2.
Or no, sorry, number 6.
Number 6. Okay. Should the Twins sign Miguel Sano?
Miguel Sano is number 2 with 162. Just barely did not catch Brian Dozier.
Joe Mauer.
Joe Mauer, number 9 with 71.
Okay. All right. Well, how about Justin Morneau?
Justin Morneau just barely cracks the list at number 14 with 58.
I don't think he's going to be on there. We're out of my pre-written down guys.
We're just about there for me.
Maybe I'm more rooting for this guy to somehow be on there than thinking he will be. Eduardo Escobar.
Eduardo Escobar is number 10.
Oh,
yes.
Good pull.
That's my dude.
Good one. Lou, what do we got?
We're getting into the nitty gritty here. I don't think he quite got there. Josh Willingham.
Josh Willingham, 61 home runs, is number 12 on the list. So we've still got number 7, number 11, number 13, and number 15 that are remaining. And we have not missed a single guess. We have not missed any of the bonus names.
We're getting there.
Tom, what do we got?
I got a bad feeling about this one. But Jim Thome?
Jim Thome is actually number 18. He only had 37, so he did not make the top 15. That's a strike for Tom.
I think I'm about to get one too, but my guess, how about Mitch Garver?
Mitch Garver is number 15.
Oh, just
barely. He's the closest to 50 on this list. He had 53.
Okay.
I'm going through. Wait, hold on. Let me just look at my Bomba Squad shirt. Is this cheating technically?
No.
I think we've gone through quite a bit of these guys. I don't think some of these guys that are left weren't on the team more than 1 year. Dang. I thought this was going to be my
this is going to be your ticket.
Who's played a bunch of games at Target Field? It might be like a sneaky one.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1. That's strike 2 for Tom.
I was going to guess Trevor Larnach.
But
I don't think he's going to be in there.
I don't think so.
Yeah.
I don't think so.
He's been on the team a while.
I'm not going to confirm or deny since you were out of time.
Yeah.
So if you want to use that on the next one, go for it.
The last name that I have pre-written down, which I don't think is going to be correct, Trevor Plouffe.
Trevor Plouffe is number 7.
Whoa, he is way higher than I expected.
He hit 96 home runs between 2010 and 2016. I mean, he was there for 7 years.
I should have got that one.
Way to go, Plouffe.
Tom.
I had a partial season ticket package in 16 and 17. I'm kicking myself for not getting that one.
Ooh.
I'll throw Larnach out since that was an official guess. I don't think it's going to be on there, but
Larnick is number 16. So
right there.
Lou stumped the Froemm.
Stumped the Froemm. Okay, I'm so curious who 11 and 13 are.
Okay, so 11. Here, let me flip over to my hints. Whoops. Yeah. So somebody had 62 home runs between 2020 and 2025. Oh wait, hold on. I'm on the wrong screen. Hold on. Let me show the actual screen to you. So 62 between 2020 and 2025, and 58 between 2022 and 2025.
Ryan Jeffers and what would be the other one?
It is Ryan Jeffers is the 2020. 58 between 2022 and 2025. Guys, there's a big name on this board.
Carlos Correa.
Yes, there we go.
Oh, hello. Goodness.
I did not think he'd be up there.
Yeah, I guess I didn't think that he would.
No, he was not on my radar at all. Neither was Jeffers.
Yeah, Jeffers. That's a good one too. All right, well, that was a fun one. That's a fun little list.
In case you want to know, rounding out,
at
17 is Oswaldo Arcia.
Nice.
20 is Kenny Vargas.
Oh, goodness.
19 is Kenny Vargas. Then we've got Michael Kadire and Jason Kubel rounding out.
Okay.
Okay.
So, all right. Well, that's a fun little blast from the past. I'd like that one. That was a fun inaugural Stump the Froemm. And I will bask in my glory of stumping the Froemm. Well, before we say goodbye, why don't we talk about our walk-off question, which was, which twin would you want to sit next to on a 6-hour flight from Tampa Bay to Seattle, the one that they are probably flying on right now as we speak? There's some fun options here. I'm going to throw this out. I would like to sit next to Rocco Baldelli. I think that he's an interesting dude, and maybe he would put one of his earbuds over in my ear, and we could listen to some Fish together. 6 hours. That means we'd get through like half a song. So I'm going to go with Rocco Baldelli. Tom, let's go with you. Who would you pick to sit next to?
I was going to have that similar logic for Joe Ryan and the Grateful Dead.
Okay.
My first thought was one of the bullpen guys, because they're having so much fun out there. But then it's they're going to be all juiced up on Red Bull and just like it'd be like sitting next to a 5-year-old iPad kid or something, no way.
I can't imagine a plane ride with Louis Varland next to him.
Just barking at people for 6 hours. No.
Barking and just leg shaking relentlessly.
So I kind of wanted to combine that a fun and a chill, and I think the perfect guy that this comes together on is Brooks Lee. He's got this kind of California cool thing going on, but then he's also kind of cringe, like in the nicest way possible.
Yeah,
he is. You look at any kind of dugout celebration, and Brooks Lee is losing his mind at like Carson McCusker gets his first MLB hit, and you see Brooks Lee just acting like they won the World Series or something. He just seems like a really good dude to be around, and he'd just be very chill and fun to hang out with on that ride.
Yeah, good answer. Greg, what do you think?
Yeah, I do want to say that was awesome. Brooks Lee, like trying to get McCusker's attention to do the weird, like that weird hang 10 thing that they do around their head. Yeah. Like he was like screaming at him. That was so much fun. Shout out Carson McCusker. I hope that he goes back to raking at AAA now that he's been demoted. I hope to see him again soon for my own sake. So when I'm on a plane, I don't want to speak to anybody. I don't want to be bothered by anybody. I just want to hang out. So I was thinking about like the chillest people on the Twins, who I think would just be quiet the entire time. And my first thought was Bailey Ober, but then I thought, okay, if we have 2 6'9" dudes sitting next to each other on the plane, like it's going to be a miserable experience for both of us. So I threw out Bailey Ober. My next thought was Simeon Woods Richardson. Then I forgot that he was, not on the team anymore. I think that I settled on Trevor Larnach. Maybe I feel like is just going to be a quiet, calm, cool, nice little flight over the heartland of America. I think I would say Trevor Larnick, or
All
maybe
right.
like Zebby Matthews seems like a quiet guy. I don't know.
Yeah, I just realized how neat.
I one of the other names that I thought of was Carlos Correa. I feel like he is like a nobody speak to me on the plane. I need to get like the specific amount of rest every single night. But then I'm like, I think that he would be obnoxiously quiet, if that makes sense. Like he'd have the breathing strips on and he'd have like the pillows and everything has to be like perfect. I feel like that would be exhausting to sit next to, even if he wasn't talking.
Yeah. Okay. Hey, good answer. I love the visual of you and Bailey Ober in the same row next to each other, but I want somebody sitting between you two. Somebody cursed that's sitting between you.
Like Ramon
Ricky Gasper, come
Borrego,
on
who's short, their first base coach, who's real short.
Yeah, there we go. That's
Just
that'd be a good
jammed in between you guys. Peyton Eels, he's coming along. They're just going to bring him with. Just, don't really have a reason. Just to come in between you guys.
All right. Well, hey,
he's in Florida right now, right?
He is. Yep.
Look, listeners, please. Who did we miss? Who would you think would be a good person to sit next to on a 6-hour flight? Let us know. Shoot us a tweet, reply to this post, whatever. Send a carrier pigeon. I don't know. Let us know what you're thinking. We would love to know your thoughts. Before we say goodbye, Greg and Tom, anything you guys would like to plug?
Tom, you got anything?
I'm like. I just got like a creative ADD right now or something. I'm all over the place. I started this podcast. There wasn't one this week for Memorial Day.
Yeah.
I think I'm going to move
Thanks
it
for
to
respecting the troops
already to something. It's a mess. It's a mess, but it's a work in progress. That's how I work in progress though. Like I never have a completed idea.
Sure.
It's always like, I'm just going to start and figure it out as I go. So that's where that is, but it's called Twins Ticket if you're interested. This week's episode, I will be updating my Twins prospect list for June, and there's going to be quite a bit of change on that. I usually don't change a lot in reaction to 1 month, but 2 months that's enough to react to. And there's been a lot of things to react to in terms of prospect status on guys. So be on the lookout for that. But still writing at Twins Daily, doing that a little bit more this year than I have in past years. Still doing the videos, but only a few times a week now. So check those out. TF Twins, wherever you're looking for me.
Please do, especially if you're wanting an inside look at some of the minor leaguers. Everybody, please, Tom does some incredible content. So please go follow him. It will be definitely worth your time. Greg, anything in the works, or are you going to pass it off to next week?
Yeah, I just also want to give a shout out to the work that Tom does. I don't know if there's anybody who's on like kind of this side of things who does cooler and more unique stuff than what Tom does. So I appreciate all the service that he does for Twins fans. I'm starting to write a little bit more. I haven't written a ton over the last month and a half just because of life, but I have a lot more time now. So I've got some different ideas that I've been sitting on for like a month. Also, just want to plug this podcast. You know what? Let's make a new rule. If anybody gives us a 5-star review, no matter what it says, if we find a 5-star review on Apple or Spotify or wherever, we're going to read it. I don't care what it says. Even if you call it a spoof podcast, like some of the most well-respected bloggers might call it, we're happy to read it.
We will read it, and if it is profane, we will put in the beep. We'll put in like the edits too. Yep, exactly. So please leave your reviews. Thank you so much for listening. Thanks to Tom for joining us. We will see you probably in the middle of next week for an on-daily podcast at some point, maybe a live stream too. So please keep your eyes out for that because the live streams are going to be a ton of fun. So hopefully we can do that in the middle of next week. But until then, everybody, stay sweet.